Some of these tricks that I did nearly 20 years ago still blow my mind, and today we're going to go over the origins of every single one of them, so let's get straight into it. So welcome everyone to my garage, and as you can see from the intro of this video, we are going over some old clips I found of myself, and I stumbled upon these clips recently, and it brought me back to those moments of when I was going for every single one of these, and immediately I just thought about all the crazy stories and situations that turned into every single one of these tricks, because the truth is, at the time when these videos were coming out, which was like 2006, maybe 2007, like, there was a crazy time that the internet was like finally becoming what it is right now. And a lot of you that are old enough to remember these videos in particular, like, these were like some of the first viral videos like in BMX, where BMX guys were sending it around, like, did you see what Scotty just did on this website or whatever? Like, yeah, that's exactly how it was going, and it was crazy for me to be a part of it. I kind of had like some of the first ever like web videos in BMX, especially like the big ones that were grabbing a lot of attention, because my sponsors, like, they saw that right away, and they saw the value in that, and they started getting me to film more and more of these. And I'm going to explain a couple of these things. These videos actually still exist on YouTube under my old BMX sponsor, which was Felt Bikes. I actually rode for Felt from 2003 until 2013 when I switched over to Hyper. So yeah, it was an awesome run with Felt. I was like their only rider on their BMX program for a while, so like I built it up, and it was a really cool experience, and it was a really big company. If you guys know Felt, they make like really high-end like road stuff, so like yeah, they were into BMX for a little while, and I was the face of it, and I was lucky enough to be it. So yeah, we're gonna go over the web videos that I did back in 2006, I'm thinking around there is when they came out. And we're going to watch some of my favorite ones from start to finish, and then I'm going to go back and talk about some of the clips that stand out to me. So let's get straight into it, and we're going to start with the first one, which was the White Banks video. So the White Banks were out in LA. This is like a pretty famous skate spot, and a lot of BMX went down in this as well. They brought me here with no idea what I was going to get into, and I ended up coming up with some really creative stuff. As you can see, I was a tail whip guy back then. That 180 whip to manual was super cool. I really like that manual up, manual down 180. Now this one is more the same as before, kind of like a little backlash out, but this next clip is the one that I am super proud of. And still, like, looking back at it, like, I had no idea I was going to be doing that one, but let's watch it back. You can see I'm going up like a 180 tail whip, landing in a manual, looping back around to tail whip on the way up into fakie. Like, it's a really, really clean trick, especially for that long ago. And I'm glad I was able to get that one on film. So that was definitely my favorite clip from it. But one thing I want to point out is my handlebars that are in the actual ad itself. Like, we're going to go back there and freeze the frame on them. These handlebars have a sticker that is on the crossbar, but you can see it wraps around on the side of the handlebar. I took like a sticker that was on my handlebars, and I cut it and I wrapped it around that way. And Felt thought it was really cool, and they decided to give me like a signature sticker for my handlebar. These are not particularly going in order. I don't really remember which way they came out. I know they were filmed all in like the same summer. Every time I'd go to California, we would schedule doing these videos with Mark Losey and Glenn P.P. Milligan. And yeah, we had a lot of fun doing it, and it was pretty crazy seeing the stuff that we came up with. So let's roll into the next one. This one, we ended up going to a school at night, and there was no game plan of what we were going to do. I ended up doing that 360 tap to tail whip out. That was just like a starter. But then we started building these benches up against this like overhang. It was like an outside like eating area. And somehow we came up with doing a wall tap to fakie across the benches, which was really cool. Especially like looking at that photo right there. Like, it looks like really aggressive and kind of dangerous, but yeah, I remember stepping up and going for it and just being really like happy with the way it turned out. But the trick that we're going to look back on this one is going to be fakie wall slap, landing fakie, and then doing that half cab bar off the end. Like, that is such a clean trick, especially for that time frame. And yeah, really proud of that one. Yeah, we'll just keep on rolling straight into the next one. This was at another school, and this first clip is pretty crazy, and that's the one we're gonna slow down at the end, but let me show you some other ones. Wall ride to tail whip, like on flat ground. Here's a weird one. Wall ride to ice to tail tap to like a downside tail whip out. Like, I don't know how I come up with this stuff. Here's a little street line truck, and then going to a grind down that long rail, and landing in a manual. And of course, guess what's coming? Yeah, you should have known already, the tail whip. But yeah, the tricks that we're going to rewatch are going to be that first trick, because I just want to point this out, I don't think anybody was doing this at the time, so I think that was a pretty big deal. I know it wasn't perfect, but it was a flat ground 360 tail whip. You can see how I landed. I kind of scooted around and rode away, so it wasn't like an official 360 whip, but at the time that was a 360 whip. And I also want to watch back on that wall ride to tail whip. You can see that it's on flat ground. There's really no takeoff at all, and you can see when I land, I'm landing in an uphill. So yeah, really cool to get that clip as well. So we're gonna keep things rolling. We're gonna go straight into the next video, which I think was probably one of the biggest ones. This was one that was filmed at, I believe it's called Jupa Skate Park, and I had some crazy tricks at this time that nobody was expecting. I just invented a few of them, and we're gonna go over them right now. So there's a trick I invented, which is the flare to 540 tail tap. That was a 720, and I also did a turn down in it, and of course I'm gonna get that tail up in there. Now this next one coming up, bar spin to manual to fakie manual, drop ice to 270, really creative stuff right there. I think that's really cool. But this next one right there, tail up to foot jam. I am pretty confident that I was the first person to ever do that one. I never saw anybody do it before, and I had this idea at my skate park one night. It's like, man, tail up to foot jam would be really cool. But I do foot jams with my right foot. I'm gonna have to learn how to do it with my left foot real quick so that I can catch the tail with my right foot and then put my left foot in. And that's exactly what I did. And yeah, that ended up opening up a ton of options in BMX moving forward. So pretty proud of that right there. This next one, tail up to manual, drop to hang 5, hang nothing right there, going back to hang 5, jumping to manual, and guess what? Another tail whip. You should pretty much expect at this point you're going to see a tail whip pretty much in every single line I do, because that was a huge thing of my riding at this time. So yeah, we'll move on to the next video, and this video right here was the craziest one in my opinion, because it involved 2 tricks. That's it, only 2 tricks in this whole video. But they were the most unexpected tricks I think that anybody would imagine to see on this setup. I'll describe the day real quick before we go into it. Me and my friends, we were all hanging out, but I had a photographer and a videographer in town, and we were going to film a cool video. And I had no idea what I was going to do, no idea. And I had this random idea. Let's go to the Pep Boys. We have that thing that's right there. Maybe I could do some tricks into the grass. And we ended up showing up there. Me and you're going to see there's a bunch of people here that are carrying the pallets for the video. And we showed up there, built this ramp out of pallets real quick, and then I sent 2 insane tricks. So let's get straight into it. This is the pallet video, and you can see everybody bringing the pallets. There's Augie Simoncini. I know my cousin was there. Cord Burglar was there as well. There was so many of us. I really am looking at it and trying to make out who all is in this video. But we made this really cool pallet setup. We stacked it up and made a ramp to go on top of this clothing donation box. And this is the first trick right here. Popped up on there. Double tail whip, drop in into that bank. Look at, here's another sped up version of it. Wow, insane. And now here's the craziest one. Get ready. This is ridiculous. Yeah, you saw that right. That was a tire tap the front flip. It's just insane to think about where I was in BMX that long ago. And I am super proud of it. I really am. Watching back, and especially at my career now where I can't physically ride anymore, but I still love BMX with all my heart. And I am so proud of everything I've done in BMX. And when I look back at stuff like this, and these moments, man, it really cheers me up big time. It really does. But let's go rewatch those clips right there. We have 2 of them that we're going to go slow down. We're going to start with that double tail whip. Straightforward, it's a double tail whip, but it's a drop in. Nobody was doing that at the time. A double tail whip off of a clothing drop box, and then landing that one perfect too. It was super clean. Wow, insane. But this next one, I'll just give you guys a quick backstory before we move into this one. This was the summer of the drop in front flip. The first one I saw was Craig Mass do it into a resi ramp, and literally that week I was at Woodward. I ended up doing it into the foam pit. But they were doing tire tap front flips, so that's what I did first. But then I realized, I'm man, I can do a manual to a front flip. So I did that into the foam pit, and then literally that day I did a bar spin to manual across the mini ramp. to a front flip off of the end of it, and that was back in 2006 or 7, super long ago. Apparently there's footage somewhere. I know there was a sequence that was in Ride. I would love to get my hands on that. If any of you have that want to either donate it to me or at least send me a picture of it on Instagram, would be really, really cool. So it's something I'd really love to see. But this is what we have. We have this clip right here, and I ended up doing a tire tap the front flip off the end of it. But yeah, let's roll into it. We're going to rewatch it again. Tire tap the front flip, insane. Look at all of that spin, like coming to a halt at the bottom there. Like, there is so much momentum. It's crazy to see. But if we slow it down, you can see how much happens and how fast it is. Rotating around, the back wheel picks into the ground. Somehow I was able to hang on to it, get that rotation, and it's just nuts to go back and just think about how these videos kind of like shaped my career in BMX and like kind of modern day of what my life is with YouTube. Like, it's not like I was filming these videos or editing them, but I was a part of them. And I kind of saw how crazy the internet was at that time, but I didn't really tap into it for myself until 2016 when we started the channel. So pretty crazy to see, and I'm just grateful that these still exist. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video going back in time with me. If any of you remember these videos, if you guys are old enough for it, I'd love to hear like what your thoughts were when you first saw this stuff. In the comments would be really cool. And yeah, hopefully I can find some other old ones and go over this stuff in the future with you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And my little brother is just getting back from North Carolina for his mongoose trip, so we should be able to film some videos for you this week. So either way, we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.